Hello. So today I have a speed build. It's of the last Culpeper house. By last I mean in my save that I'm making. That I think it's the last one I had to do. So I made I've called this speed build, or I am going to call this speed build, like a boho plant filled apartment or something like that, because I decided I wanted to do something quite colourful. And this kind of came about because in my modern suburban traditional aka Billy can't name things, what a surprise, I mean you can definitely tell from that name, I decided that I wanted to do something bright, because I think I said in that I just keep doing very neutral coloured monochrome things, which I mean kind of fits in with what I wear, very white, grey. I like a little bit of pink, a little bit of yellow, but then I don't tend to wear those colours that much. Contrary to what my wardrobe behind me looks like, I mainly just wear the black stuff, although I guess one side of it is completely black. But the bright coloured stuff, the only thing I wear over on that side is that pink coat. But yeah, so I used a lot of Movie Hangout, which I was kind of excited about because that was another thing I wanted to use Movie Hangout, because I just never use that pack. I think because the furniture's really, really specific and I just could never think of a use for it really. So I thought, today's the day. We're going to find a way to use it, even if it does end up looking a bit tacky and a bit OTD. I thought it would compensate for the fact that all my other buildings tend to be quite plain in colours and quite I don't know, neutral and just kind of blend in pretty well. So today's the day. Today we are using Movie Hangout and filling an apartment with plants. And I do love a good plant, as you can probably see a few of them behind me. I mean, I did have more, but as much as I love a good plant, I am absolutely terrible at taking care of them. So what are you gonna do? I guess you just try a little bit harder, but I'm sorry, I can't. I'm very bad with them. I've got too many and I still want more because I've got so many empty plant pots now, but it's fine. The cactuses are still alive. We're doing not terribly. My succulents are okay for the most part. Yeah, I do actually really like how this turned out. It is very over the top, it's very brightly coloured, but I don't know, it was just a nice difference. Other than that wallpaper, which I'm pretty sure stays, by wallpaper I mean the tile. I'm obsessed with that tile. I just keep using it in everything. And I keep thinking about I want to build my dream house in The Sims. And that tile was going in it in the pink swatch. I just love it. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, I think I leave that door there. I've got a thing about using kind of outdoory doors at the moment. I don't know why. I just quite like it. They're quite airy, and I don't know. I kind of want to do a house where it's got an extension kind of built on, so it's a front door in the house, because we've got a door like that in our house where the front door used to be a different door and then they built onto the house, and so we've got this really big solid door in the middle of our house kind of thing. So I don't know, it's pretty cool. I think I kind of stick with this blue pinky theme. It's an apartment for two, well, it could be for 4 Sims to be fair, but I kind of made it with 2 female Sims in mind possibly, but again, move anyone you're liking. I thought they would maybe just be friends sharing an apartment, both just a lot of plants, both colourful furniture, both thrifting maybe. That's another thing I've built recently that I've got to do a voiceover for. I wanted to use all the furniture that's in what packs, Strangerville and things like that, kind of all the DIY-y kind of furniture, Strangerville's got that DIY kind of shower bath combo. And so I made a little tiny home, I don't think I needed to say little there. I made a tiny home that's DIY / thrifted kind of second-hand furniture, and so I'm pretty excited for that one. But I've been thinking about it and I think I want to change the exterior, because I think the exterior is kind of a little bit boring and I don't know, it just looks quite plain. So I'm thinking I might change it to maybe a more modern one, because it just needs something to spice it up a little bit, I think. So that's what I've been thinking, because at the moment it's what's it called, slats? What are they called? Slides? You know, the things, the long thing, you know what I mean, maybe, hopefully. I don't remember what they're called. I just have bricks around where I live. I just don't think they're really a thing here, but they're wood or something like that. But yeah, they just, I don't know, it just looks too much like all the other houses I've built in Willow Creek at the moment, and I just kind of want to spice up the roof a little bit or something, or just make it a little bit more interesting on the outside, because it's so tiny inside. Obviously you're quite limited in what you can do. Also, I made the bathroom so small. I think I might have made it a little bit bigger, but I figured out you can actually do three tile bathrooms. I think, is it three? It was three or I'm not gonna say, no, it wasn't three. Basically, I think the original bathroom was 3x2, but you can actually do like take a square away. But the thing is, they're a bit funny about moving around it, so I did debate leaving it like that. But I thought it was a bit annoying if every time you want your sim to go wash their hands, they get stuck, and because if you move them in the same room so that they can then get to the door, they act fine. But if you don't, then they're like, oh no, I can't get out of here, even though I can if you instruct me to move somewhere else. Hard to explain. I presume someone might understand what I mean, but I don't know, it's just weird, and I don't really understand like the mechanics of the game. Like, I don't understand why a sim can't navigate around something if you like tell them to go outside, but they can if you tell them to just move around that object and then just carry on telling them to go outside. It's really weird. But yeah, I used quite a few debug, well, I say quite a few, I used some like live edit mode items. I really love these branches. I've never really paid much attention, well, I like used live edit mode for cars and things, but because there's so much stuff, I just find it a bit hard, and you can't clone anything. That's the other thing. But I used plants from there because a lot of the jungle adventure plants, I think, have weird shadows, the ones that aren't in like the debug menu. So I used the debug ones, and then those branches I absolutely love. I was looking at like boho kind of houses on, well, not houses, like rooms, bedrooms and things like that on Pinterest, and most of them, again, were quite neutral coloured. They were like kind of brown with loads of plants, but that's how the plants came about. But yeah, I decided I would stick with my bright colours, but I would fill the apartment with plants, and I think it looks really nice in the end. It is very specific taste kind of thing, like, because it is very bright. I think you would have to be someone who really loves bright colours to live here, but I do think it looks really sweet. I think the most over the top part is probably that kitchen. I mean, you've got blue tiles, you've got like over the top tablecloth, you've got curtains on the outside. It's all very coordinated, but it's kind of cute and I kind of like it. So I didn't realise how many cute swatches there were in Movie Hangout for different stuff. I just wish, my number one wish is sofas. I mean, it wasn't an issue in this build because I wanted to use that kind of sofa, but I was building like a cafe the other day, and I was just trying to put sofas down. I was like, there is no swatch I want, or there's a swatch I want, but this sofa's the wrong size, or like the wood's the wrong colour, and the colour of this thing is wrong, and it was just a nightmare. I just really wish there was more sofas or more swatches on the sofas, because a lot of them are really specific colours as well, like orange cushions. Also, I want some cushions that aren't custom content. Are there any? I know there's those ones that you can sit on that you can downsize, but are there any like standing upright ones? If so, can someone tell me where to find them? Because my brain seems to think there is, but I cannot find any, so I'm not sure they exist. I think I've just made it up. But if anyone knows, please tell me, because I really want some, because I'm so used to using them in custom content to like decorate chairs and things, because a lot of the time when I used to build houses, I'd have stuff that was like non-functional, so I'd have loads of functional stuff like wardrobes and stuff, but I might put in like a dressing table that wasn't functional and it was just kind of made up, and then I'd put like the chair at an angle because I thought it looked quite cute. And I do like builds like that, but obviously when you actually play the Sims, they're a bit annoying when they're not functional and your sim can't go to the toilet because you've done something weird. And that's another issue with the Sims, is that everything in this whole grid format is like quite annoying sometimes, because I don't know, you can like move things with move objects on and then it'll work even though it's not really meant to, because there's still enough room for the Sims to go around stuff. But then I don't know, sometimes you have to like play test everything because you're like fiddling around so much to like get the narrowest space. And one of the things that I had to play test loads is a while ago I built like my real life house in The Sims. I've not quite finished it yet, but I've mostly done it. It's just I need to add a load of clutter and then do the voiceover, which is probably going to be about 40 minutes. So I've kind of been putting it off, mainly because I don't want to finish doing the clutter and then having to do a voiceover. But yeah, I have this bathroom downstairs in our house. I mean, I had to change the proportion of our house because our house is a ridiculous shape. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And in The Sims, it's really hard. So it's like slightly a different shape in The Sims. But especially when I was trying to do this little downstairs toilet we've got, and it's tiny, and there's like a toilet here, and then like a sink here to like the side slash in front of it kind of thing. So like if it was in The Sim, I don't know. It's kind of, it would be like half a square forward and like half a square to the left if you were facing towards the toilet, something like that. Obviously, you can't do that. And I was trying to figure out how to like fit them in that space. And the sim could like basically use one of the objects and not the other. So in the end, the way I had to do it was put the sink on like the one wall and then the toilet on the other wall. And that's like not how it is in my house, but I guess like that's a really minor thing. And then another one was like the baths have an exit and an enter route. So my bath's actually on the left side of the bathroom in real life, but I had to put it on the right side. I mean, I could have put it on the left, but then the tap would have been around the wrong way, and I think it looks weirder to have the tap in the middle of the room than it does to have the bath on the other side of the room. And then another weird thing is that I've got loads of slopey walls at the top of our house because part like the rooms are kind of in the roof, and so yeah, you can't do that, or as far as I'm aware, you can't do that. So it's just loads of weird like compromises I had to make and like improvisations. The stairs, I don't even want to talk about those. I tried to build my house before the stair update. Oh my god. Oh, it was a nightmare. I built it and then I put in a pair of like faux custom, because I was using custom content a lot at that point, whereas I'm not really anymore. But yeah, I put in like faux custom content spiral stairs and was just like, I'll deal with that if we ever get spiral stairs, because I just couldn't find a way to fit in like a long flight of stairs because the shape. And then even putting in like L-shaped stairs was a nightmare because we've got like one room on the middle floor and then we've got rooms at the top, and then there's like the way the stairs come out, they are like spiral stairs, and I was just trying to make kind of like a spirally stairs. In the end, I kind of had to take out, I think either I had to make the room a little bit wider or I had to take a bit out. I don't know. I managed it eventually. I honestly don't really want to think about it because it was such a nightmare that thinking about it upsets me. And like I tried to do like a split level because there's like a little step in one of our living room, like in going from the living room when you come in the house into the living room kind of thing. You'd have to see, but it's just, yeah, I just couldn't do it. I was like, no, this is just too much. The split level thing really stresses me out because I can't stand when it's like outside. And then it was just like, oh, if I do that here, then I'm gonna have to put stairs here, and it's not gonna let me put stairs here with an archway here, and then no, and I just couldn't do it, and it just really frustrated me. So I don't know, but yeah, builds that didn't frustrate me. This one, because I really enjoyed it, because I think I prefer apartments generally just because they're smaller. And so when I like start running out of ideas how to decorate, it's like I don't have loads and loads of stuff left to do, so it's fine. And also, it's just so bright and colourful. Like, how can you hate it? I mean, you probably can, because again, probably looks a little bit on the tacky side, but I just love it. And I love all those bits of art that are around, like a gallery wall. I really want one of those. I've got quite a few prints that I want to get framed. Well, I say I just want to frame them myself. I want to buy some frames. That's what I mean by get framed. And I also would like to do myself a piece of artwork of my rabbit. So it's like, hey, here's the rabbit's home. And I'm like, hey, it's my home too. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm kind of tired today. My sleeping pattern is all over the place. This is what I get from sleep depriving myself to finish off uni work before I came home, and then just generally having a bad sleeping pattern anyway, and now just kind of napping whenever I feel like it, which means then I don't sleep at night, and then I just have a really stupid sleeping pattern. But I'm dumb, and I just don't learn. Is the lesson here is that Billy doesn't learn. And why do I keep speaking about myself in third person? I think I'm just going a little bit insane. Quite honestly, that was probably just what's happening. When I get tired, I just get really like, I don't know, my brain just kind of goes into overdrive. It's really hard to explain, like I don't know what I mean. Yeah, and debug is my best friend in this apartment, and I'm hoping everything is functional. I think it should be. I didn't play test it, honestly, because I didn't really think to, because I was like, oh, why wouldn't the bed be functional? But like also I'm kind of thinking like, yeah, you've got loads of stuff floating above it. But then I think it should be fine because usually I think it's the middle part of the bed that causes an issue. Also, does anyone wish we could still do the bunk bed thing? Because I so wish you could still do that. Like, I don't... Why did that stop working? That's so upsetting, because we just don't have bunk beds. At least let me be able to fake make them. Because then you could make, like, tinier homes where it's like, what... Because, yeah, I'd like to make kind of like an 8-sim tiny home or something, but you have to have all the beds as individual beds. Why can't I have a bunk bed? Please give me bunk beds. There's not many features that I still want in The Sims, but bunk beds I would quite like, and updated babies, but I don't think there's really anyone who doesn't want updated babies. And just more things for elders to do. Speaking of elders to do, I'm really upset by the community vote thing, not because the arts and crafts one, because that was probably my first choice, although I am quite upset by the lack of the paranormal stuff, because I kind of wish all of that had got added in, and most of the arts and crafts. But I don't understand the knitting. Why did knitting do so well compared to... My favourite was embroidery, because I just think embroidery is really cool, and I follow a load of embroidery artists on my art Instagram, but I just think it's so cool. And I think it got like the lowest votes out of that pack, and I just think it's bizarre. Like, why? It's so cool. Also, does anyone just... I'm just really intrigued what would have happened with that Grim Reaper career. Like, how does that work? If my sim dies, like, someone in my household, does my other sim have to reap them? Reap their soul? I don't know. How does that work? I would have loved to know. I hope that comes out in a pack in the future. There's just quite a lot of things that I was like, yeah, I hope that comes. Like, I kind of wanted the vegan trait, because then I could give myself it. But then I was like, well, I mean, I can only have 3 traits as it is, and probably that's not when I would be the trait I give my sim, because I don't know, I feel like the other ones affect more, because I feel like the food ones only affect food related stuff in The Sims, even though like vegans more than food, but in The Sims I feel like it just affect the food. And then also it's like, well, we have vegetarian, and I barely use that trait anyway, because again it just doesn't do very much. But I don't know, there was just loads of things in those votes that I was like, I want all of this stuff. Please let me put an opinion on all of this stuff and why we should have it. But yeah, I guess you can't have everything, but hopefully they'll introduce some of these features later on, because they have said it doesn't mean they're off the table. But I guess this is finishing now, so I hope you enjoyed this build, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!